Hello, I'm Matthew Chris from Gambling.com and welcome to another edition of the panel. And this week, as every week this Premier League season, I'm joined by Celtic and Manchester United legend Brian McClair. Now, Brian, you did quite well in week one. You got six outcomes correct and one score prediction correct, which was Arsenal 2, Wolves nil. You ready to try and better that this week?
I don't think that performance will be repeated. Certainly not this week. Considering the fixtures for the second round, and also the scores that I've chosen. So we'll wait and see, will we? So
Okay, so without any further ado, let's look ahead to week two of the Premier League, and it starts this week like it did last with your old club, Manchester United, who will face a tricky trip to Brighton on Saturday afternoon.
well, nearly all the trips to away grounds are tricky for any of the kind of teams in the Premier League, but certainly that's been the case for United. Although having lost, I think, four out of the last fixtures, Premier League fixtures against Brighton, they managed to win at Brighton in the very last game of last season. And like I've already been saying many times, that Manchester United's problem is a lack of goals. Large swathes of the game last week, I thought the opposition dominated. They had a number of chances, and Bruno had more. I think he had three chances, and at the end, it took an almost last-minute goal from the new boy Zirkzee, who may well start the game on Saturday. Brighton, I was very impressed with their recruitment over their Premier League tenure. However, one of my favourite players is an old academy boy, Danny Welbeck, who always seems to play well against Manchester United, either in his time at Arsenal and maybe more particular in his time at Brighton, either creating goals or and indeed scoring goals. So I'll be looking forward to see how he does in the game. But I'm going for a score on Saturday lunchtime at Brighton 2, Manchester United 2.
2-2, okay. Let's rattle on with the 3 p.m. games on Saturday, starting with the London derby, Palace versus West Ham.
Well, both teams have scored in the last 14 Premier League games, so it's a match that seems to have goals in it. With that in mind, I'm going for a home win. Crystal Palace 3, West Ham 1.
Okay, Fulham Leicester.
Fulham, for me, were very impressive at Old Trafford last week. Can count themselves certainly unfortunate not to get a point out of the game, but they created enough incidences in the game that they could have actually won the game. They haven't won any of their last 5 Premier League first games at home, but because they were so impressive last week and Leicester gave up so many chances that Tottenham didn't take, I'm going for Fulham 2, Leicester 0.
Okay, and Man City, Ipswich, another tough game for Ipswich, who started last week against Liverpool. Now they're away.
Yeah, one of the other promoted sides this year. They did quite well early on against Liverpool, or maybe Liverpool didn't play so well in the early part of the game. But I can see a huge problem for Ipswich if they continue to try and play at the back, from the back. I know a lot of teams are doing this, but Ipswich in particular in that game looked so vulnerable. Gave up so much possession and restarts in their own right behind the corners or throw-ins right by their own penalty box. Really, if they continue to play like that, they're going to ship in a lot of goals, in my view. With that, considering that going to Etihad, City don't lose and certainly don't draw against the newly promoted teams. I can't see any upset come here at all. Manchester City 4, Ipswich 1. They may well be buoyed by the potential of signing, in my view, the best player when they won the treble, and Gundogan, who looks as if he's on his way from Barcelona back to the Etihad.
Yeah, which would probably be bad news for many of the other teams in the Premier League if he comes back with the way City are looking at the minute. But so you're going for 4-1 there. You're giving Ipswich a chance. You're giving them the goal. We shall see. Southampton, Nottingham Forest, 3 o'clock Saturday.
Well, Southampton, of course, had lots of possession in their away game in Newcastle last week, but that was mainly because Shard getting sent off early off in the game they couldn't turn that possession into any goals. And Newcastle win the game 1-0. I don't see Phil Forrest. I've got a very good record of winning against Southampton at Southampton, either at both grounds that Southampton have played in during the Premier League years. They had the joint most number of shots, I think, last week, and ended up only drawing. I think Forrest will win this game by 2-1.
Okay, and lastly, the last of the 3:00 Saturday games is Tottenham Everton. Everton obviously suffered a big home defeat against Brighton last week.
As I said, it was very much a surprise to me when I was looking at prediction, particularly that Everton's survival in the Premier League has very much been based on their home form. Again, it's not going to be helped by going down to 10 men, which they did in that game. I can't really see. I think that Everton are going to have a problem playing Tottenham Stadium. Spurs created so many chances, which were commented on by Postecoglou, how disappointed he was at how profligate they were in front of goal. I don't think they're going to be like that on Saturday. I think Spurs will win by 4-0.
Yeah. Just a reminder that you tipped Brighton to actually win, Everton to actually beat Brighton last week 3-2. So
yeah, well, I expected to be goals in the game, but
yeah, you certainly got that right, just at the wrong end. The tea time game Saturday 5:30, Aston Villa v Arsenal, a tasty game, it would seem on paper.
Yeah, both teams started very well. Both impressive in their opening fixtures. Maybe Villa more so in winning their game at West Ham. Although, if you look at the records, I think that Arsenal have won 14 times, I think, at Villa Park in the Premier League time. I think there maybe was one other team that they might have beaten 14 times at their home ground as well. I'm expecting it to be a tight game, though, and I'm going to go for a draw. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't be the only one there playing it safe. I think that's the popular pick this week, is a draw there. Going on to Sunday, the first game, 2:00, Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Newcastle making the long trip down to the south coast.
Yeah, but Eddie Howe has never beaten Bournemouth in any of his fixtures so far. But I'm going to go against that trend, and I'm expecting Newcastle to, assuming that they can keep 11 players on the pitch this week, to come away with a victory. I'm going to go for Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 2.
Okay, and the next game on Sunday is Wolves versus Chelsea.
Well, it's particularly interesting. I think that there's been so much chat about Chelsea and misconceptions around a number of players that Maresca has to deal with, but he's made it clear that he's only working with a squad of 24, 25, I believe, that they've got 15 players training separately from this group. So they have been, from what, if it's right, what's in the media, they've been told that their minutes this season are going to be limited, and that includes two England internationals, Sterling and Chilwell. And it would appear that they would be available if someone wants to make a bid for them. I thought that his explanation of why they were not involved was pretty decent. Some people said brutal, he said honest. So it looks as though he's got settled. They've traded again this week by swapping Conor Gallagher for Felix, who had a really poor loan spell at Chelsea. Although having said that, he was played all over in different positions, didn't seem to secure one. He's not available for the game on Sunday, but I think that Chelsea will get their first victory. And I'm going to go for Wolves 1, Chelsea 3.
Okay, 3-1 Chelsea. And finally, it's to Anfield, Liverpool versus Brentford. And I think you were impressed by Liverpool last week at Ipswich, weren't you?
Liverpool second half in particular, or maybe from the last hour of the game, I thought were exceptional, particularly the front three of Salah, Diaz and Jota, some of the passes, some of the movement, and of course the chances they created. You could have meant that the score was an awful lot more than it was. At home, Liverpool, I think, will be very, very difficult opponents. Brentford, once again, have not got their talisman striker, with continued speculation about a transfer potentially to one of the Saudi clubs. Liverpool 4, Brentford 0.
Okay, well, that wraps up our look at the week 2 of Premier League season this week. Don't forget, Brian will be joining us every week during the Premier League season with his predictions on the panel. So join us again next time.